All right, so this is definitely a bit late. This video should be releasing on the 10th. It is being recorded the 7th. We have been selling One Piece ever since OPO1, and we really started taking One Piece seriously in OPO3 with Pillars of Strength. And since then, there has only been one time in the entire time that we have been selling One Piece that there was a major market shakeup. And that is when they did something similar to what they are about to do. So when Wings of the Captain was popping off, and then 500 Years into the Future just had come out, we saw reprints not only of Wings of the Captain, but we saw reprints of, I believe, Awakening in the New Era, which is OPO5 anniversary set. I believe there was a very, very small reprint of it. A little bit of sleeved packs, and I think there was a small booster box reprint. We saw the Wave 2, which is, I always get it confused. I think it's Blue Bottoms. We saw the Wave 2 of Romance Dawn, OPO1. We saw more Paramount War printed, and we did not see any Pillars of Strength reprinted, and we certainly did not see any Kingdoms of Intrigue reprinted. So, from what I remember, we had the reprint of Romance Dawn and Paramount War, which both definitely shook up the market, and I was actually able to get a decent bit of it at the time. Wish I kept it, but we saw that, and we were selling that for a while. And then we saw, I believe, a little bit of Awakening in the New Era, which I had purchased at a very inflated price, and we still somehow made money on it. Also, wish I would have kept it. And then we saw Wings of the Captain take a nosedive. It took an absolute nosedive. Now, I do want to say before Awakening of the New Era and that market pumping then, Kingdoms of Intrigue was rock bottom. We were selling Kingdoms of Intrigue for a small loss unless people bought a decent amount of packs. We were stuck with a decent bit of it just because it was the worst set of the time. When it came out, it was easily the worst set, and it fell pretty quick. But we still made a lot of money on Kingdoms of Intrigue. But when we saw this reprint, I was stuck with a decent amount of Wings of the Captain, probably 200 to 300 packs, and at the time that was a lot for me. Now that's kind of light work, but at the time, like 2.5 years ago, that was a lot, and I got to be honest, I was a little worried about One Piece, and it's somewhere buried in our TikTok from when that reprint happened. But I was actually, for the first time, very scared about One Piece and its future because it's Bandai. This is the first time Bandai had a good game that was sticking. And they went ahead and turned the printers on, and they saw what happened, and they actually corrected course, and they've been doing things right up to this point, where we're seeing another market boom. We saw a market boom with Awakening in the New Era. They printed the shit out of it, and the rest of the one, not Awakening in the New Era specifically, they printed the shit out of Wings of the Captain and 500 Years into the Future, and Two Legends. Two Legends is when they were like, holy fuck, we gotta slow down. And then they made an absolute powerhouse of a set out of Emperors, and that's when we bought 2.5 cases of it, and people were selling it for $4 a pack, and I was buying all of it because that is insane for an anniversary set. It's now $20 a pack, by the way. So they printed the shit out of Wings of the Captain, and the market dropped. It dropped. I went from making a shitload of money on One Piece to making nothing. It felt just like the Scarlet and Violet and Paldea Evolved, little blip there was in the market there, and into Obsidian and Paradox Rift and even Temporal before, it started to turn on a little bit with Twilight Masquerade. So now here we are in 2026, looking at late 2026 and 2027 plans here with One Piece. So this tweet from Forge and Fire had definitely shaken things up a little bit. You see it has almost 120,000 views there. We have One Piece. Our largest distributor, Southern Hobby, will now be carrying One Piece. Additionally, Peach State will also be carrying One Piece. Now, from what I understand, there was 2 distributors that carried One Piece. I can't remember the one, but the other one was GTS. And it was a very, very, under wraps, nobody else is getting One Piece. And now here we are. getting more distribution on board. And if you're going to sit here and tell me that we're going to keep the print runs the same and split it upon 3 and 4 distributors now, not a chance. Print runs are going up. So seeing this tweet and seeing this information be validated, um, this is something that does scare me because it almost took me out of One Piece investing and us selling the product when they did this the last time when they turned the printers on. Um, Knowing that I'm sitting on 250 packs of OP14 at $8 a pack is honestly a little sickening. Now, will OP14 be affected by this? Probably not. I even would doubt that OP15 is going to be affected by this. I think OP16, OP17, and forward will be affected by this. Now, what I think will happen is by the time they turn these printers on, I think we're going to have a perfect storm. I think we are going to see the One Piece market drop way sooner than these printers get turned on and these distributors get product. And we're going to see double the supply and 2x less demand. And that's going to crash the market. This is the first time I've been bearish on One Piece since Wings of the Captain. So the fact we made it from OP6 to OP14 with 2 PRB sets and 2 EB sets, that's a pretty good run. But I think it is time to sell off. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be touching really any of my OP14. I'm just going to ride it out. It's only $2,000. It's not that much money in the grand scheme of things with how much we have made on One Piece. We are very up on One Piece. But I've been a part of this thing since the beginning. And when it comes to how I feel about everything in general, if we can get One Piece boxes to go back down to $89 a box, you know what? I'm okay with it. Because if my cost goes down, yeah, I'm not going to be making off rip $3 to $4 a pack. I'll go back to making my 25 cents to $1 a pack, depending on order size. But if we can go back to $89 booster boxes and online, usually around that time, I think they're about 100, maybe 110, 120 maximum for good sets. If we can go back to that, I'm actually okay with it because it was just better in general. And by that point, I assume the scalpers will already be fully balls deep into Pokemon 30th anniversary and scalping that shit and whatever's after Chaos Rising. So I'm not that worried, but as for the amount that I purchase now, we are definitely going to move into OP16, OP17 very cautiously. Now, don't get me wrong, any EBO3 I can secure, I'm going to purchase it. And if Bandai wants to print the ever-living shit out of EBO3, if I can keep getting it at my normal prices, I don't give a fuck how much they print it. EBO3 will go down as one of the best One Piece sets of all time. It's a fucking waifu set. I mean, all I have to say is if you are opening EBO3, you are making an incredible mistake. If you can get booster boxes of EBO3 at any price under like $200, and keep in mind they're pre-selling like between $500 and $750 right now. If you can get anything like at your normal LCS pricing under 200, that is a buy. And any of your shops, I know people don't like the business side of it, but we are a business. This is a business channel. This is not a hold your hand Game Piece Army channel. Even your shops that are taking the plastic wrap off of boxes, which is something that I dealt with pretty heavy here, especially with OP14. I'm paying $8 a pack and wraps being taken off of boxes. It doesn't matter to me. I know the boxes are, legitimate and that my customers are going to get stuff regardless. I know they haven't been fucked with by the shop owners or anything like that. But it's just like, even when you have these stores doing anti-scalping countermeasures, listen, man, just sell the fucking packs. Yeah, you're not going to make as big of a percentage, but you can just sell all the fucking packs and you're gonna be fine. And people who are like, dude, don't ever buy packs from, you know, people online. Like, I get it, but when you have, if you have a way to verify, like if somebody asks you like, hey, do you have the receipt for this, where you know, I can be assured that this is from a legitimate source, or something like that. If you can, if you, now most sellers probably won't actually give you that information, but as long as you have it, just in case you ever need it with wherever you're selling with. Sometimes you can run into an issue where you can have invoices requested for whatever reason. If you ever run into a return issue on eBay, or I don't know how it works with TCG Player, even though eBay owns TCG Player, it could be kind of a different system. But sometimes you have to sign affidavits, and you have to sign, you know, do police reports and stuff for people scamming you. And having that paperwork to verify, and those receipts to verify that, you know, this is coming from a legitimate source and nothing has been done to it, is very important. And there are some sellers that do the things that people say, but a lot of the bigger shops and people with good feedback, they're not doing this shit, man. They don't care. You know, to sit there and really think that, you know, we're in 2026 now, man. This whole thing where they think people are resealing Pokemon packs, like, do you understand most, like, okay, there's people that say that people are resealing Pokemon Phantasmal Flames. The card that would be worth it to take out of a pack is like 1 in 1,000. So you instantly need over $5,000 worth of product, and you are essentially risking $5,000 plus worth of product for a card that is $500, 10%? Are you fucking kidding me? Dude, you literally 1,000 packs just on my profit margin right now on Phantasmal Flames. 1,000 packs. That's $1,000. I can sell all of the packs completely untampered and buy 2 of the fucking card. Like, the amount of stupidity there is. So, you know, if you do run in a situation where it's like a shop will offer you product but the seal needs to be taken off, just fucking sell the packs. Who gives a fuck? So it's one of those situations, man, where EBO3 is going to be an absolute heater. I don't know about, you know, we are unfortunately 3 sets away from the next anniversary set. But if they could get these printers turned on by the next anniversary set, I'm down. Because I bought a shitload of Emperors and it was dirt cheap. Like, I think it came out at like 150 or 160 a box. And at the time, like I said, TCG Player pack price was like $4 or $3. And I paid $6.30 on average per pack. That was my dollar cost average per pack. And I'm selling them right now for $20 a pack. I long-tailed the fuck out of it. So it's just like, I'm optimistic, but at the same time, this is definitely going to shake things up. And I'm definitely looking at being more cautious with One Piece, because it's not just going to be buy it all anymore. And it shouldn't be, but at the same time, you know, One Piece, I think, has something over Pokemon in the fact that you're getting 2 hits a box, sometimes 3. You can open a booster box of Pokemon and literally not get a card worth over $5. Every single One Piece box you open, you are guaranteed, G-word, guaranteed, with new sets right now, you are guaranteed to at least get 2 cards worth $10 to $20 with an upside of thousands. You can open a box of Phantasmal Flames. You can open it. Let me rephrase. You can open a case of Phantasmal Flames, and the best card you can get is $30. It doesn't make sense. So Pokemon either needs to increase pull rates or just do better. And Perfect Order is the worst set I've ever seen. So that's where we're at right now. I'd love to know your thoughts down below. Go ahead and leave them. But as for this tweet from Forge and Fire, it definitely shook up the One Piece community a little bit. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with it. So that's been my business take on this, and I'd love to know yours. So consider subscribing, drop a like, and I'll talk to you soon.